I wonder what this week will bring. Let's take a look at the Forecaster Oracle to do the collective energy reading for the week ahead. As always, I'll do this in 3 parts. First part will be the collective energy, what's happening within the collective field. Then I'll look at how it affects the world stage and the predictions moving forward for the week ahead. And then I'll take a look at the personal predictions and how to best navigate this energy. Let's get into today's reading. So the first card that came out when I was just doing a bit of a shuffle in the intro just to get the cards ready, put the intention in of what I was reading for today. This card here came out, which is called the harmful exposure. It's toxins or virus. Now I wanted to talk about something that happened in the predictions, the June predictions reading for this month ahead. You can check that video out. But when I was shuffling to lay the cards for that one, I was actually told, and I didn't do it, I was told to go with the raw meanings on the cards, and I had to be specific about what the cards were saying because they wanted to bring a message through exactly as it was listed on the cards. Well, when the first 2 cards that came out on that reading was the toxins, I think is spreading, mutating, and pandemic was the other card sitting on top of each other. And I really sugarcoated it. I sugarcoated it because I didn't want to be fear-based. I didn't want to bring in energy around worrying people about a pandemic. So I sugarcoated that energy. And then later after I did that, I felt bad because I went against what I was told to do. I was told to go by the actual card meaning, by what was written on the card. They didn't tell me not to sugarcoat it, but I did sugarcoat it. So, and then this card today for this week comes out with the virus card. So, and when I did that prediction reading, I said that we may hear of more viruses in the population, Ebola, diphtheria. I said COVID, but I said I don't think it's COVID. I said maybe the hantavirus, but something around viruses in the community. On the news a little more for the month of June. Now it's coming up as the first card for this week. So we may hear this week more about viruses, maybe even pandemic preparations. And I said in that reading that, this could be a narrative. This could be fear-based, to put us all in fear mode. But it could also be, if there's something that concerns you, if you're immune compromised, then take precautions in the community. And it's coming out as the number 1 card for today. Now, I don't know if it's to let me know, to remind you to say that I should have been more specific on what the cards were saying by the meaning of the card instead of sugarcoating, or whether they're saying this week we may start to see a little more around viruses, information on the media around viruses. So sitting below that is a smart grid rising. So an evolution, that card did say spreading, mutating. Evolution is kind of the same, but so is rising. Rising is spreading again. So sitting on top of each other like that, the same as they did in the June predictions, which is very interesting. Then we have blurred boundaries, merge divides. Now, if I read them in order of how they fell out, it was toxins or viruses, the energy around that in the collective this week. Blurred boundaries, merging the divide. So bringing it together. Now, I don't want to focus now on the virus portion of it as I move through. We have social media control or social control. More things about digital ID, I guess, perhaps in the UK. Their focus very heavy in the collective energy this week. Fertility, reproduction. Smart grid rising, urban evolution, a succession plan or next phase. Climate reckoning is the earth responding. And an information surge. Now, what's interesting, I'm just jumping ahead to these two cards here, is climate reckoning is the earth responding to something. So it is also about climate change. But in this particular instance, this card is about the earth responding to something, and it's sitting next to a surge card. So this could mean we could be seeing something, perhaps a surge from the sun, and the earth responds. Earth responds by movement, volatility, such as earthquakes, volcanoes, rising tides, inundation, and tsunamis, things like that. Anything to do with the earth responding, moving, responding is, and it's responding to some kind of incoming surge. Surge to me sounds like sun activities or solar activity, even though the solar card is not on the table. But I feel like we may see that energy in the collective this week. Also want to notice here, these two here sitting diagonal from each other. It's the social media or social control card sitting with the information surge or data dump. This could be fear in the population around information privacy around our information. Now, this could be circulating within the collective this week. Blurred boundaries, merging, succession plan, the next phase. Now, I feel like we're moving into a next phase of some kind of plan. I don't know if this is a plan elites, people in charge have for the population, have for the collective, but I feel like it's upped a level and moving into the next phase. Now, how is that connected to boundaries, merging? That can talk about immigration, that can talk about issues in the population around immigration, people's feelings, something going on with the energy of people putting energy into the collective, and how that happens is either fear-based or excited energy. So the more people are focused on the same thing, the more of that energy goes into the collective field. So here we're merging divides, bringing in the next phase. So the next phase of the plan is somehow connected to urban evolution, merging divides, borders, boundaries. They could be stepping up a level somewhere in the world, UK, US, around, could be anywhere actually. It could be across the board, like it could be one of those WEFs or those ones rolling out their next phase of a plan around population control, social control. It's on the table. That therefore requires a merging of some sort, merging of people, merging of countries, merging of boundaries, in order for a smart grid rising and urban evolution into the next phase. Whatever that plan is that they've got, next phase, they're moving into that next phase. So we might just start to feel that energy in the collective this week. And I'm hearing drip feeding, so I feel like it's not an instant thing that's happening this week. It's a drip feed. So the succession plan, the next phase, comes in as a drip feed. Now, it could come in, for instance, when the COVID pandemic, and this is bringing me back to these two energies here now, when the COVID pandemic, that was a game changer for everybody. That was, it done a lot for people's mental health. The isolation wasn't good for a lot of people, and then actually trying to come back into the community together, that it really messed people up. And I feel like that was a big change that happened instantly. It's like we all just were locked down, or we all were just fear-based energy around viruses, and that caused an evolution in a quick way. So while they're telling me drip feeding into the next phase, they're also showing me the energy of the pandemic. And I think that they're showing me that because it shows how that phase of the plan was carried out. Now, it might have been drip fed in years prior, but didn't quite meet the target or the agenda that they wanted to bring through. So it was done in a scare-based campaign. Now, I want to pull back and go very basic here as well, very practical level here. I feel like there's something going on underneath the surface, not in our face. It's a plan of some sort that's entering second phase, and I feel like the way that they're doing that is through social control or controlling the population. The way they done that last time, this is me just trying to say it in a very basic way, the way that it was this kind of thing that's happening now, that's going to be drip fed, but the way that it was done last time was through the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. So it caused a leveling up in the phase, whatever phase they were, to bring through social control of the population. It was to control the spread of the virus, of course, but it's a way of social control. So I'm seeing that kind of energy again on the table. Now, blurring boundaries, merging divides. It's interesting because it's kind of very opposite to the COVID energy. And then we have fertility and reproduction on the table. Reproduction is babies. It represents something new, something brand new. And so with COVID, it was the novel. Is that what you call them when a virus is a new strain of a virus or a new type of virus? Novel virus. It was the COVID novel virus. So babies can represent new beginnings, something new. But it can also represent something around fertility, reproduction, social control. Maybe we're hearing more research done on fertility, more research done on genetics, and helping with the issues around fertility. Maybe we're getting more information about that because we've got the information surge data dump. Maybe there's going to be more information around something to do with genetics or fertility. So we see social control, and diagonal is information surge. So that's privacy, that's people's data, that's people's privacy. Okay, I'm going to leave this one and I'll move on to the predictions for the week ahead. Predictively for the week ahead. And the virus toxins has come out again. So I don't know if they're trying to say, and I'm reading the meanings of the cards this time like I was supposed to do in the prediction reading, something harmful, some kind of exposure going on this week predictively in the collective around the world news headlines. Could be virus, could be toxins, but it's some kind of harmful exposure this week. Planes in the media this week, so something around aircraft or planes, airports, could be data, could be an actual plane in the media this week. Then we have a lot of stuff around AI, a lot of AI cards here. We have innovation solution is a very forward thinking, new plans, new things moving forward. It's very AI. This has got a robot in the card, so it's a very robot, very futuristic card. So it's a new innovation, a new solution or progress of some sort. I'll get back to that card. We have the ethical override. It's logic versus empathy to do with AI. And then we have the synthetic mind, which is AI adaptation. So I'm wondering predictively if we're going to be seeing or hearing a lot more about data centers in the media around the world. Now, I know that it's pretty big in the US. The huge data centers are being put up around the US. I know that there's some collaboration between the US and the UK to do a very large data center. And then I just heard on our local radio yesterday that an area and a kind of rural area is welcoming the addition of a new very large data centre in our mining area here in New South Wales in Australia. So I heard it on, it's actually Muswellbrook is what I heard if you wanted to look that information up. They're talking about putting a data centre in Muswellbrook, which is a mining town. That was on the radio yesterday. So I'm wondering if we're going to be hearing a lot more predictively on the news this week around data centres. Drip feeding even, like I heard the word drip feeding. So starting to drip feeding us and getting us used to the idea of these new big data centres going up all over the place. Because there's 3 cards here for AI, innovation, ethical override. So it's in the synthetic mind, AI adapting to the new changes, and we've got transitional shift. So we're in phase 2 of, I feel the energy is shifted and we're moving into another phase, and I feel that phase is very much connected to data centers and AI adaptation. So a lot more of that. So I think that there's more innovation will come from that. The more data centers there are, there's positives to it, but there's also negatives as well. Now, flow of energy or power flow, I'm thinking that it's connected to the amount of resources or power that's required to power these centres. Now, if I want to pull back for a second and don't want to focus on power centres, also wonder about the long-term harmful effects of these data centres in your communities. So, and pulling back from the data centres now, so I'm not just focusing on data centres, I would say that predictably, we will be looking at some kind of Earth responding to some kind of surge or solar activity this week. Something around planes on the media. We're seeing more about viruses also, I'm feeling, with the harmful exposure or exposure of some sort. Energy is in the media again this week. So we're talking about energy and resources. Maybe it's power prices going up or something around energy this week in the media. And then the other cards we're looking at is AI, technology, innovation, solutions, ethical override, and AI adaptation in at the media this week. Personal level, we're taking a look now at how to navigate this energy this week on a personal level and what you can do. This week, the biggest thing that you can do is use discernment. So whatever it is that you're hearing on the media, policies, updates, reviews. We've got policy reviews here. We've got just different things, something under review, and scrutiny. Scrutinize all the information that you receive this week. Use discernment because there may be a level of manipulation here. Communication, open dialogue. On a personal level, this is an opportunity to a turning point within relationships, an open opportunity to open the lines of communication with those close to you. How you're navigating the collective field this week is that you're scrutinizing all information that comes through, communication that you hear, that's media, especially if it's some kind of catalyst event that you're hearing on the media, because that's a turning point into the next phase, the innovation, the new, whatever this new phase is, the structure reform, the overhaul or update of policies or control systems. So here I would say, whatever it is you're hearing on the media this week, especially if it's a catalyst event, I would say use discernment this week and really scrutinize all information that you're receiving this week. So this is an eyes open week. Hope you have a beautiful week ahead, and I'll see you again next week.